Composition and functions of gastric secretions. The gastric secretion mainly converts pepsinogen to pepsin for chemical digestion. It provides optimal pH environment for pepsin. It destroys some bacteria. It stimulates the small intestinal mucosa to release CCK, that means cholecystokinase. It promotes the absorption of calcium and ferrous in small intestine. These are the basic functions of gastric secretions. In conclusion, it converts pepsinogen to pepsin. That is, pepsin is the active form for chemical digestion. It provides optimal pH environment for that pepsin because pepsin works in acidic condition. It also destroys some bacteria. It stimulates small intestinal mucosa to release cholecystokinase. It promotes the absorption of calcium and ferrous in small intestine. These are five basic functions of gastric secretions. Along when we see the composition of gastric secretion, the main important component is pepsinogen. The pepsinogen is helpful in the digestion of proteins. It is a precursor of pepsin. Secondly, the mucus. It forms a protective barrier that is called as mucus bicarbonate barrier. Third important component is intrinsic factor. It combines with vitamin B12 to make it absorbable because vitamin B12 is absorbed only with the combination with intrinsic factor. When we see the control of gastric acid secretion, how this gastric acid secretion is controlled? The gastric acid secretion is controlled by three mechanisms. When we see these three mechanisms, these are mainly, first is neurocrine, the second is endocrine, and third are paracrine. These are the three basic mechanisms that control this gastric acid secretion. That means neurocrine control, paracrine control, and endocrine control. The neurocrine denoting an endocrine influence on or by the end of the nerves. Endocrine, that is gastrin, and paracrine concerned with histamine. In contrast to true endocrines, those hormones are not released into the bloodstream but into the surrounding tissues and act in the immediate vicinity, that is intestinal mucosal hormones. These are concerned with the paracrine, that means histamine. In conclusion, we will see there are three controls: neurocrine control, endocrine control, and paracrine control. Neurocrine obviously via the nerves, endocrine via gastrin, and paracrine via histamine, that is local action, that is paracrine. Now when you see in detail, that means the regulation of gastric secretion, we already see in previous section. It is different phases. First is cephalic phase. Cephalic phase, that means it is stimulated by the sight, smell, and taste of the food. It is activation occurs via the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve, it stimulates chief cells to secrete pepsinogen. It directly stimulates G cells to secrete gastrin. It directly stimulates ECL cells to secrete histamine. It indirectly stimulates parietal cells to secrete HCl. That means this is cephalic phase and continues into the first 30 minutes of the meal. That means when we eat, and immediately after 30 minutes, when the food reaches at the stomach level, that time this cephalic phase activates and it activated by the vagus. Secondly, it is also stimulated by sight, smell, and taste of the food. And when this cephalic phase activates, this is activated by the vagus nerve and it causes stimulates chief cell, stimulates G cells, stimulates ECL cells, and indirectly stimulates parietal cells. That means it stimulates different types of cells that are located in mucosal layer of the stomach, and respectively it secretes pepsinogen from chief cells, secrete gastrin from G cells, secrete histamine from ECL cells, and secrete HCl from parietal cells. When you see the another phase, that is gastric phase, it arrival of the food in the stomach, then the stimulate gastric phase. The gastric secretion is stimulated by distension. When the food reaches at the stomach, exactly at the reaches, it causes distension. It is chemical nature of chyme. It is one of important example of positive feedback effect. As more HCl and pepsinogens are secreted, more polypeptides and amino acids are released. And intestinal phase, as partially digested food enters into the duodenum. That is the next phase. When we say the cephalic phase, it is stimulated by when the sight, smell and taste of the food. That means just before arrival of the food, that is cephalic phase. When the food reaches into the gastric phase, it is, that means when the food reach at stomach, arrival of the food, that stimulate this phase and it's called a distension of the stomach. And as more HCl and pepsinogen are secreted, more polypeptides and amino acids are released. Then there are third phase, that is intestinal phase, as partially digested food enters the duodenum. When we see this in detail, that is functional phases of the gastric secretions, here we can see cephalic phase of gastric secretion approximately 30% of the total via the cephalic phase, while the gastric phase approximately 60% of the total gastric phase. The cephalic phase concerned with the vagus nerve. When we see the gastric phase is also concerned with the vagus nerve. And third is the intestinal phase, that means cephalic phase, gastric phase and intestinal phase. Now next question arises, how the regulation of gastric secretion occur. The regulation of gastric secretion. The secretion of the HCl, that means hydrochloric acid, that HCl is also regulated by negative feedback mechanism. The HCl secretion decreases if pH decrease more than less than 2.5. At pH of 1, gastric secretion ceases. The D cells stimulates secretion of somatostatin. That is how this gastric acid secretion regulate. Obviously, the secretion of this gastric acid is regulated by the negative feedback mechanism. When this pH goes less than 2.5, that time HCl secretion decreases, number 1. Next, at pH 1, the gastric secretion ceases and D cells stimulate secretion of somatostatin when the pH goes down. When we see the endogenous substances regulating gastric secretions, when all three stimulators are present, acid secretion is maximally stimulated. That means acetylcholine, gastrin and histamine acts synergistically. They causes increased. But when the pH goes at sufficient level, that time the previous mechanism that we seen, the regulation of gastric, that is negative feedback mechanism activates herewith. Herewith, when the pH goes down, HCl secretion decreases. When the pH goes at 1, gastrin secretion ceases and D cell stimulates secretion of somatostatin. This is a negative feedback mechanism example concerned with gastric acid secretion regulation. When we see the control of the gastric acid secretion, which factor controls the gastric acid secretion? The gastric acid secretion is controlled by 3 mechanisms. We already seen this, that is neurokine, endocrine and paracrine. These are the 3 factors, neurokine, endocrine and paracrine regulates this gastric acid secretion. And in last part we will see the gastric and peptic ulcer. The peptic ulcer, the erosion of the mucous membranes of the stomach or duodenum produced by the action of HCl, that is peptic ulcer. Next is Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. The ulcers of the duodenum are produced by excessive gastric acid secretions, that is Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. Next is Helicobacter pylori, bacterium that resides in GI tract that may produce ulcers. Next is acute gastritis. The histamine released by the tissue damages and inflammation stimulate further acid secretion, that is acute gastritis. That means in conclusion, peptic ulcer, Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, Helicobacter pylori and acute gastritis.